Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to wherever you might be in the world. I'm Dr. Robin Lococo, President and founder of Challenge Champions and Heroes, an organization that looks to bring honor and recognition to the differently abled people in the world and their caregivers, the heroes. Today on our real life education through real life stories, I have a special guest. As you know, in our last show, I interviewed Penny Heffelbauer, and she talked about her sister, Alice Marie Rebstadt, who had a disability. So now I want to get a different perspective. As in my Special Needs Dialogue book, we are learning that different experiences are okay. I might have a life experience that is different from yours, but it's not wrong, it's not different, it's different, but it's not wrong. Okay, so my point in this show today is to open other people's eyes and ears to understand new perspectives, and when they see somebody with special needs, that this show and this story might help them understand what it's like to have somebody in your family that has a disability. So today I'd like to welcome Gloria Rebstadt Lundberg. She's been married 52 years to her loving husband, Daryl. And she's a good friend of mine because of Penny. We know each other well. So I'd like to welcome Gloria to the show. And Gloria, can you share a little bit about your sister Alice from your perspective?
Sure, I would like to. Thank you, Robin, for the introduction. That was sweet.
You're welcome.
I'll just give you a sort of a brief background of why she is the way she is. Um, she was born 71 years ago and still living.
Wow.
When she was born, though, she had a little red mark on her face, but it looked like it was just something through the birthing process or whatever. But we found out later that it was something they call hemangioma, and it's a benign tumor that has a lot of blood vessels forming in it, and it's like a red, puffy birthmark. So you've probably seen that on a lot of people. But what happened with Alice was when she was in the hospital, it got infected, and it ate half of her face, neck, and throat area.
Uh-huh.
And it was all infected, and they at that time did not know how to stop the growth. So they used what medications they had, and then they would use radiation and hold her head under radiation for 15 minutes at a time.
Wow.
She had many of those treatments, and back then they didn't know what they know now about the effects of radiation. Again, this is 71 years ago.
Yeah.
So she was at Children's Hospital, and they told my folks that you may as well take her home. She's just going to die. And that didn't happen. But
Right.
through all the radiation to stop the growth, it left her with no eyelid, no ear covering, just a hole, disfigured, mentally and physically challenged for the rest of her life.
Wow.
And so that's where it started. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the way God designed it, I guess.
Yeah. That's it. Everybody is created for a purpose, and
Yeah.
everyone has gifts and talents. But in this situation, you wonder, what what purpose in life do you think that Alice had? You know.
Uh-huh.
So, but the next question I'd like to answer first is, what things in life make Alice happy? You
That's
know.
an easy one, Robin. As long as things were going her way, she was happy.
Yeah.
But Alice is person to easily please.
Yeah.
I wrote down some things that really did make her happy, and her world go around very lovely. She Yeah, she would love being cared for and being the center of attention. Uh, when we had our family devotions, she always wanted to contribute to what's going on, and she would have things to say. She liked feeling important
Hmm.
and honored, or like when she did something really good, you tell her that I love that, Alice, or that was great, and that would make her so happy.
Yeah. She
When
was
I
al- she was
Well,
always the life of the party when we were together. I
oh, I
mean,
know.
I
Well,
remember the one time we went to Denny's and she was just having a blast. She had her coffee and she had her dessert or whatever I think it was a cheeseburger she liked.
yeah,
Yeah. So she had those and she was just the life of the party, all happy.
yeah. Any of those special events, she was there and she loved it and made herself well known.
Amen.
What
Um, so
another
go ahead.
another Let me tell you, this was always she always liked the idea of sitting in the passenger side of the car with a cup of coffee in the middle. And the other really memento or thing that I remember is she would take magazines and calendars, cards, etc., tape them on her walls. She would cut out pictures and tape them on her walls in her bedroom, and they all meant something very special to her.
Uh-huh.
And she would tell you if you asked, but it was covered with a small picture, a big picture, or whatever. But that made her so happy. And then
Oh,
she wore rings on all her fingers, as many as she could. And she loved to paint her toenails, going to McDonald's, and visits from anyone.
oh. Now, you and Penny, as her sisters, did you all sit together at the house and cut out pictures together? And
Nope, that
no,
was her. That was
that
her
was
thing
her
she
thing.
would do. She would have a desk in her room, and while we were all doing our other things, she was in there cutting up and looking at some TV program or something at the same
Okay,
time. That was
okay.
her thing.
Nice. So, what in life has Alice taught you, do you think, because of her disability?
To- For when I see people with a disability, to be sincere about my feelings and give them a great smile or a little pat on the back or something, because they are special and they like their recognition.
Hmm.
But she challenged the patience part and asking questions because she didn't know she and it would become a pester, but she would keep on. And she taught me how to take my emotions and my tempers and just take it down to her level of a 7-year-old,
Yeah,
and and not be thinking, because she's an adult, she looks like an adult, but she's not.
yeah.
And just to be another thing is just be easygoing and not in a hurry. Just enjoy where you're at right now.
Enjoy the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's important in life, huh?
Yeah, we want to rush it along.
So, how has Alice impacted others as you're in public, and how do you think her life has affected others? I know for me, I just thoroughly enjoy being around her. She's just fun. You can just feel the happiness radiating off of her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, she brought happiness to lots of people along her journey. And she would see people that she sort of took a liking to, or you wanted, she always wanted to talk to people. And she would just go up to them and put her hand out and say, "Hi, my name's Alice. What's yours?" You know, no hesitations or anything. And that's something that she had that we didn't have. We would always think, well, I'm not going to go talk to that person. No. But she would start a conversation with them, and Alice would sometimes be out with me doing errands. And she would be down an aisle and I would be down another aisle, and I could hear her voice going. So I'd go where she is. And she introduces me to another friend that she's already made. She says, "This is my friend," you know. And people like that, or waitresses, or people that took the time to talk to her, they found a lot of joy in
Yeah,
that.
well, that's
And
amazing.
one of her gifts was she liked helping people. You know, she had compassion for people that had special needs, or like the elderly. If they needed assistance or if she could help them, she would try to do that. But
She was a servant herself, huh?
yeah, yeah, her heart really went out to them. And
Hmm.
another thing we did as a family was we sang together a lot, and she could harmonize just by ear. And we that was one of our fun times. In fact, Penny and I still do when we get together, sing maybe some hymns or old songs that we grew up with.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. But she has a childlike faith and is so grateful for kindness returned to her,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So, so then, okay, you and Penny lived together, with Alice, and then you kind of went different directions. Penny got married, right?
Right, right.
How did all that affect Alice's care at that point?
At that point, she was living at home with my mom and dad, and she went to ARC. It stands
Oh
for
yeah,
Association for Retarded Citizens.
the arc, yeah.
Yeah, and she would go there. It happened to be very close to our house, so she could walk. And she would go there and participate in whatever little job they had for them to do and have lunch. And they would have all sorts of activities, ready for them to be a part of. Uh, the one up here, when she moved here, was uh, they would go out and to the parks and have their lunch or go to Target or 99-cent store or work in a garden that they were working on. Uh, and they would do dances
Oh,
and have loud music and stuff. And it's like a care program, but it's for like uh, uh, people that are challenged in their life.
yeah.
So
I remember Penny saying that she won some awards, gymnastics, I believe.
well,
Were you a part of that in growing up?
oh yeah, she was in the Special Olympics, and she did gymnastics a little bit, but the main ones that she won medals in was swimming, and it
Oh,
was it was the backstroke that she would do, and they would have the games at UCLA. And she liked that, and she loved being honored, of course, and
yeah.
a ribbon and things around that ribbon. She loved that.
Yeah. So that's a gift and a talent that Alice has. She's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
swimmer. She loves to sing.
Yes, yes. And whenever somebody would bestow on her a gift, of say a little package of M&Ms or something, when she would be out walking around our neighborhood,
Uh-huh.
they knew they knew Alice and her wants. And she would come home with a big grin and laughing, and she would say, "You don't I can't believe it. I'm so embarrassed. Is my face red?" And she's just all excited and couldn't believe it that somebody gave her something. And
Oh,
she had a sweet tooth that never ended.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, that's part of being a child, huh?
Yeah, really,
Well, I
really.
still love my chocolate, so hey.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Um,
amazing.
but one thing Alice didn't do is she just didn't sit around and in her scars and pain. She was happy and joyous, and she wouldn't even know how to explain pain to you because
Yeah,
that, uh, that's just not in her vocabulary.
yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
she was aware that she was different?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When little kids would come up to her, and say, "What happened to you?" She would just reply, "I was born like that."
Uh-huh.
And they would be satisfied with it and move on.
Yep.
But yeah, and she didn't look too good before she started having plastic surgery and skin grafts. It looked like she had been burned, and that side of her face and neck and uh, back her throat area, they just look real shiny, like a burn that has, well, all the
Yeah.
scars. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was a ugly sight for people to have to see, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you got to look beyond the outside and really
Yeah,
see the
yeah,
personality as, what we really want to focus on.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's amazing.
She is, and people would like look scared or didn't know how to take it when she would be out with us, or just sorry for her or pity, and because she just didn't look like us, is very scary to see something like that. But
Yeah.
God gave her the attitude that, okay, that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really what we're trying to show on this show is that, everybody wants to be loved and, we all have those desires in life that we want to be included and loved.
Mhm.
So, we just want to share that that's the important part of you know,
Amen.
yeah. So, as Alice is now 71,
Yeah.
and so as she got older, and I know your parents have passed now, right?
Right.
So who was the caregiver at that point?
I was.
Okay.
They had moved up here and were living with us. And Alice, uh, after mom and dad died, she started going downhill a little bit. And Penny and I talked about possibly checking out, seeing what it would be to be in a group home. And that was the hardest thing to ever talk about, even thinking about. But we got together with Tri Counties, which is like Alice's social worker, and they made appointments, and I went out to see the places,
Uh-huh.
and the first time I came back home, uh, they just had one to see that day. I just cried, and I just told myself, no, 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 I don't want
Yeah.
to.
And she had been with you for how long at that point?
Probably at least 29 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, they moved up here in 1988, and my folks died in 12 and 13.
Okay.
So you do the math.
Yeah. I can't. But it's a while, right?
It was a long time. So I knew all her habits, her daily things. I knew how to coax her into something or work it out that she will do it. Or if she had a mood, we would work that out. And I knew how to handle her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all there was. And you wouldn't tell her if you're going to go to Denny's today, you would just wait till you're almost ready to go and then tell her, we're going to go to Denny's. So you need to get out of your jammies and we're going to go. And she'd be all excited and all twitterpated. So
Uh-huh.
you didn't let her know about those events too soon.
Yeah.
But anyhow, a long story short, I kept looking and looking, and a year later, I finally found a place with a room that I knew Alice would like, and she would have been by herself. So we made arrangements to do that. And again, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do was leave her
I
with
bet.
in somebody else's care. But you know, I kept in touch with her. Penny lives about 2.5 hours from where I live, a
Mm-hmm.
drive, and it was just hard for her to get here. So I took on the responsibility of her care and monies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would make sure she at then that time she had a calendar and she would mark things on there and know what's happening. So we would meet one day a week and go out to lunch together. And then I would pick her up on Sundays and we'd go to church and then out to McDonald's
Yeah.
and then home. And it was always a good time just to chat and
Yeah.
see where
So,
her thinking is.
so a routine, having a routine for her was very important, huh? Do you
Yes,
think?
yes. She works well with the routine because she knows what to expect, and
Yeah.
then you can drop the special events in on her whenever you want. But I kept in touch. I still keep in touch. I go there, and you can always call by phone. And as she's getting older, she's had a slight stroke, so it sort of slows her down a little bit. But her head still works just as good as it did for a 7-year-old. And she'll
Mm-hmm.
ask me the first thing when I visit, did you bring a sundae for me? So I always have to make sure I do something like that or a little something for her to and look forward to.
Yeah.
But I would honestly say I have friends that still have their child at home that really, if that child was, if it was my child, I would put them in a care home because they function so differently in a care home because they do have guidelines and they do things. They have fun things and it's good for all and they have great care too. And
Okay.
they really do adopt and it's one of the hardest things I think for a parent or a caregiver to
Yeah.
have to do. It's something that's very hard, but there's people out there that would take your hand and walk you through it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we have you sharing today so that you can help others.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
So,
really, really appreciate you sharing your story.
well, well, thank you. It was really a job sitting back and going through some questions that you gave me, and it really caused me to see some places in my life where they were really challenging and hard, but I made it, and you just do. And love my sister to bits.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
amazing. I love her too. Okay, Gloria, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Robin.
Amen. And if you want to share your email address, if anyone might want to know more about your story, or if you could help them in any way, would you like to share that?
Sure, I could.
Totally up to
Um,
you.
it's Gloria, Gloria, then a period, and my last name, Lundberg, Lundb, as in boy, ERG, 66, two sixes, at gmail.com.
All right. Thank you. Okay, everybody. So thank you for joining us today on another show of real life education through real life stories. You can reach me if you're interested in being on a show at robin.challengechampions@gmail.com. And I encourage you to check out my website at www.challengechampionsandheroes.com. So thank you again, and everyone have a blessed day. Thank you.